just to wake up in the morning to the quiet of the cove and hear Aunt Bessie talking to herself, and to hear poor Uncle John mumbling wishes to O'Nell. It made me feel like everything was fine. I was born down by the water, it's here I'm gonna stay. I've searched for all the reasons why I should go away, but I haven't got the thirst for all those modern day toys, so I'll just take my chances with those saltwater joys. Following a little brook as it trickles to the shore in the autumn when the trees are flaming red, kicking leaves that fall around me, watching sunset paint the hills. It's all I'll ever need to feel at home. This island that we cling to has been handed down with pride by folks who fought to live here, taking hardships all in stride. So I'll compliment her beauty, hold on to my goodbyes, and I'll stay and take my chances with those saltwater joys. How can I leave those mornings with the sunrise on the cove and the gulls like flies surrounding Clayton's wharf? Platter's Island wrapped in rainbow in the evening after fog. The ocean smells our perfume to my soul. Some go to where the buildings reach to meet the clouds, where warm and gentle people turn to swarming faceless crowds. So I'll do without their riches, glamour and the noise, and I'll stay and take my chances with those saltwater joys. Some go to where the buildings reach to meet the clouds, where warm and gentle people turn to swarming faceless crowds. So I'll do without their riches, glamour and the noise, and I'll stay and take my chances with those saltwater joys.
Good evening and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight in our stories we have beach cleanup, town council report. Please stay tuned for these stories after this.
Honesty. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
The Green Team at a beach cleanup at the first beach of Sandbanks on Wednesday afternoon. Here is a few scenes from that day.
Alright, boys, put yourselves to use. Everyone looks, I think there's someone lived down over there with a shirt on. Basically, do all this last year by himself.
Why not?
But no, he had 5 for to go use for do it, right?
Oh.
You got a big break on the 5.
After the evening was done, it was decided that still more cleaning needed to be done, and had scheduled another cleanup for the next day. This had to be canceled due to the rainy weather. Mayor George Reed stopped by our studios with his town council report.
Good evening. We had a town council meeting Wednesday night, past, and I would like to bring you up to date on some of the things that happened at the meeting and other things that have been ongoing for a while. We haven't had many reports this year, this summer, on council news and that, and the main reason because there haven't been that much ongoing. But I got a number of things here now, so I'll just explain them to you as I go along. One item came up was about poll tax. There are a number of citizens in town who pay poll tax, and I think poll taxes are paid if you haven't got any property, which you pay property tax on. And so individuals who haven't got property, they pay a poll tax. But the regulations is that after you're 65 years old and your income is less than the basic amount, and I think the basic amount is around $9,000. So if you're 65 or older and your income is less than $8,000 or $9,000, you should check with the town office, because at that time I think you do not have to pay poll tax. There's another stipulation in there that if you're working out of town, if you're paying poll tax and you're working out of town, say if you're spending like 6 months in Alberta, 6 months in Burgeo, and you're paying poll tax, then you should check with the office, because I think you will only have to pay poll tax for the 6 months that you're in Burgeo, or 4 months or 9 months, depending on what it is. So if you're paying poll taxes and you think that you shouldn't be paying it all, and that there should be an exemption for you, then phone town office and talk to the manager, and he'll look at your case. Now, the water treatment plant. We've been talking about the water treatment plant for a long, long time, and I've continued to say to you people here and the citizens of Burgeo that we are getting closer to a new deal on our water, on taking care of our water. I've been very reserved of saying how close we're getting, for the simple reason that, if I don't have the money in the bank, then I really don't want to say that I got it. But at this point in time, I think you've already been told that the provincial government has signed off on a new loan for us. And I've been told at this point that the federal government have signed off on a new loan. And when I mean signed off on it, simply means that, in my opinion at this point, that they have agreed to it. They haven't put the money in the bank for us, but they've agreed that they're going to finance a new plant for us. Now, there's some technicalities that have to be ironed out before they sign on the bottom line. But right now, it's looking at that we're looking at about $3.9 million over a 2-year period, and that the new water plant up there, the one that's there now, the building is good there, but just about all the equipment, from my understanding, has to be replaced. So that'll be done in phase 1. So this new project is going to be done over two phases, 2 years. And the first year, the existing plant, the building itself is good, but all the machinery will be replaced. In the second year, there will be a water tank built. They're going to build a water tank there around Benny's Mud area, that area there. I think on the left-hand side of the road going in there, up on that bit of a hill there. That's my understanding. But that's not concrete at this point, but that's what's in the works. And again, I'm very, very cautious with this, but to bring you up to date on it, it seems like that we will get a new water treatment system within the next 2 years, and I just hope that that will come true. Like I said, I'm very cautious when I talk about these things, because I think most of you here in Burgeo can remember when we had the crab quota. We were told that was signed off on, and before Burgeo got it, somebody twisted somebody else's arm, and of course we ended up not getting a crab leg out of it. So, of course, I've been bitten a number of times. I'm very shy of making these firm commitments, but I hope this one will work out, that we will have our new water treatment plant within 2 years. Now, the National Marine Conservation Area, we again been told through the grapevine, I guess you would call it, from time to time, people talk to us and say that that project is still ongoing, and it's pretty close to being a reality. Again, I would just simply be, I can't say that it is, because at this point in time, it is not. It's just getting closer, and whether it will become a reality, perhaps another year. It's been going on now for about 4 or 5 years. These things with government, as you can really appreciate by now, moves at a snail's pace. Well, in town here, we've been doing our maintenance, our spring maintenance. It's been ongoing. We have installed 4 hydrants in the past 2 years. We put in 3 this year, 3 new fire hydrants. We put in a shut-off valve in the Messrs. Road area there by Inspiration Road, and that shut-off valve never did work from day one. And now that gives us the ability now to shut off the water going down to, from rifts down to Muddy Old Pond, or down towards the Green Dibble there. We can shut off water going that way without shutting off the Messrs. Water. So that shut-off valve, I think, will be very valuable as time goes on. Of course, we've done other things with our grounds, the building itself, the town council building, and the grounds around the building, and the playground, and the memorial. We're trying to keep the council, I guess, buildings and grounds up. So hopefully that'll impress you, and I hope we're working in the right direction in relationship to that. Brush cutting on the Burgess Road. I've heard a lot of people complain about that, and rightly so. I've been one of the complainers myself. We've written letters to the minister about this. We've tried to get him to come in and take a first-hand look at it. And only recently, Mr. Calvin Parsons has circulated a petition in Burgess, Rhyme, and Grey River and Franceway to submit that petition to the minister to try to get some brush cutting on the Burgess Highway this year. But I think if any of you people like phoning in on the open line, there would be a good time to phone in. It's a good cause, and it seems like to me government does work if people get on their cases. And it seems like to me that the more people that do get on their case, the quicker that they'll react. So if that's the case, I would like for some of you people, or all of you, pick up your phones and phone open line, or phone the minister's office and complain about the severity of that brush on the Burgess Road. This year so far, we've written out over 100 permits for general repairs in town. People repairing their houses, bridges, building new sheds, and etc. There's been over 100 permits issued so far this year. Now, we've had a number of people come into the town office this year. A number of tourists have come in and have told us how well they think the town looks. They've told, and of course it's been very encouraging. From their point of view, it certainly doesn't look like that we have lost 1,000 people in the last 20 years. From their opinion, it looks like that the town is very vibrant, very alive, doing basically everything that a very industrious town is doing. And people are building, people are cleaning up their grounds, people are building new things, and painting and renovating, and it really looks well. They've been very pleased with what they've seen in this town, and there have been a number of people have went into the town office and specifically talked to Blaine about it. So keep up the good work. You know, you people are doing well in presenting your town to outside visitors. We're having some trouble with the garbage cans here in town. These concrete garbage cans we got there, they seem to be very tempting to a certain group of people. Now, I don't think it's the kids, the very young ones. I don't think it's the female population. And I don't think it's the senior citizens. So I got a feeling it's a slick group of individuals who, for some reason or another, are taking out their frustrations or their anger or boosting up their ego or whatever the reason might be in upsetting these garbage cans. Now, boys, let me tell you, it's harder to put one of these garbage cans up than to upset it. So you really got to do something. You really got to show how strong you are. And you really got to tip it over. Well, tip it over and then put it back up right again. Because it's much, much harder. And if you want to press the fellows around you, or you want to press your girlfriend, or you just want to press yourself, tip it over 3 or 4 times and put it up 3 or 4 times and get it out of your system, because it's probably 2-3 times harder to tip the thing up than it is to tip it over. You know, but it ranks under stupidity. That's what it ranks to. And one of the stupidest things you could do to tip these things over and run away from them. Somebody has to put them back again, and then the garbage is spilled all over the place. So next time you're inclined to do these things, stop, for goodness sake, for a couple of minutes, think about what you're doing, and walk on. If we catches anyone, we're going to throw the book at you, you know, as far as putting it in court. There is no question about it. Not one in this, as sure as I'm sitting here. Not a question about it. There's another thing I would like to explain to people who are in an area where sometimes they get sewage backup. I know it's a very, very bad problem. Certainly wouldn't want one myself, and I'm sure no one else in town would want one. But council is not responsible for your sewage backing up. Doesn't make a difference where it is. The laws on the book is such that residents have to have a back valve on their sewage. In other words, you have to have a valve on there so that if anything comes back through, just blocks it off and won't come back into your system. So you should, if you don't have one on your line, you should get one put on your line. And the other thing I would advise you, that if you got insurance on your house, you probably should have insurance for damage with sewage backup. They tell me it's probably $15, $20, $25 to get that clause put in your insurance. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they tell me. So you should probably, for your own safety, and to give you some help, if you do have that problem ever occurs to you, you should either put on that back valve and add some insurance for that precaution, or both. Now, we don't have too much trouble with dogs in the town, but from time to time we do. From time to time people forget that dogs aren't supposed to roam around town free. For some reason or another, your dog get off. That happens, of course. Might have them tethered on, or you might have them, door might open, or whatever the case might be. Anyhow, from time to time, dogs are running around. Try to keep your dog under control at all times. And the other thing we're having is, of course, the mess that dogs make when they're walking around, and that occurs when you're out taking them out walking them. The laws in town is that you have to clean up of your dog. If you have your dog out on a leash, walking around town, then you have to clean up after that animal. The other thing is too, you're not allowed to have dogs on the playground. I mean, just think about it for a minute. Bring these dogs in on the playground. Dogs do all their business. And about 10 minutes after that, or before that, or during that, of course, there are young kids in playing around on the grass, and so on and so forth. So it doesn't take much imagination to realize why you shouldn't have these pits in on the playground. So, of course, to take care of that, we put up some signs saying, no dogs allowed. So please take that seriously, because if we see anyone in on the playgrounds with animals, then it will be reported to the RCMP. This year, Tidy Town, we've gotten back into the Tidy Town program that's on the go throughout the province. The municipalities got it on the go. And I think right now there are 65, I believe, towns in Newfoundland who are into the Tidy Town program. They're coming into Burgeo, I think, on August the 14th to judge the town. Of course, besides that, the beautification program we had on the go now in the last couple of years, that's also taking place this year, and that will take place too during that same week of August the 14th. Probably one other thing I have to mention to you is complaints. If any of you have any complaints, don't just sit around and talk to the other guy about it. Pick up the phone and phone town office. If you have complaints concerning things going on in the town, or things you think that should be going on in town, or not going on that you would like to see go on, or whatever the case might be, whatever your complaint might be, if it's worth telling somebody else, it's probably worth talking to the town manager about it. So, pick up your phone, call the town manager. He'll listen to what you have to say, I'm sure. And if need be, if you have to follow up by letter, then he'll ask you to do that. Because the town council itself, the meetings, will only deal with letters, with what's written on the letter, of course. But if your complaint might not be of that serious nature, you might just simply have to tell the manager something or whatever, so get something off your chest. If that's the case, just pick up your phone, phone the manager about it. Report anything that you see that's going on, that you think that should not be going on. This is your town. This is your town, as well as is my town, councillor's town. Anybody else? It's your town. I mean, every living soul in this town is their town, and your town will be what you make it to be. And if people are doing things that you don't like what they're doing, phone the town office. For example, I'm sure there's probably people who've seen these people upset these garbage cans. Well, if you do, just pick up the phone council, tell them you don't have to give your name. Just phone them. We'll take care of it from there. We'll take it to the cops, and they'll take it from there. And so, you see somebody damaging somebody else's property, phone the council or phone the cops. This town will only be as safe and will only be as good as you make it. So please, look after your own town. Thank you and good night.
This concludes our programming for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.